is a presentation of Team Glory Sports.
Also, we're streaming on the live video stream on YouTube at Team Glory Sports. We got a lot to talk about this morning on the schedule today. We're going to talk high school, college, and pro sports here on 97.5 Glory FM. We're going to talk with Coach Josh Travis, the head boys basketball coach at Cherokee Bluff. We're going to talk with Brandon Shabath, who is the director of communications with the University of North Georgia programs, their men's and women's basketball teams specifically this morning. We're going to talk the college football national championship, which takes place on Monday in Atlanta. We'll talk with Harper LaBelle about the NFL playoffs and that big game coming up on Monday night. We'll preview today's college basketball game with Dave Cohen, as we'll bring you exclusive coverage of college basketball this afternoon from Jonesboro, Arkansas, as Arkansas State plays host to Georgia State. It all begins the pregame show with Dave at 3:15 and tip-off at 3:30 p.m. on the Georgia State Sports Network here on 97.5 Glory FM. And we start things off with high school basketball on the scoreboard from last night, as you heard right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Region 8 AAA doubleheader between East Hall and West Hall from the Silver Dome in Oakwood. It was East Hall coming out on top in both ball games. Dominant wins for the Vikings and Lady Vikings. Started out in the girls' ball game with East Hall jumping out to a big lead in the first quarter of play, hitting numerous three-pointers there, over half a dozen there in the first quarter alone, as they end up winning by a score of 78-23 over the Lady Spartans. Then in the nightcap, the doubleheader, a big second half for the Vikings as they go on for a dominant 74-49 win over the, like a 29, I should say, a 74-29 win over the West Hall Spartans from last night. Other games around the area in Region 8 AAA, it was Cherokee Bluff boys suffering their first region loss, only their second loss of the season. They're now 18-2 on the year as they fall in double overtime to Jefferson 86-85. The Bears were behind 69-66 as Boston Curse hits a three-pointer at the buzzer to end regulation, tied at 69. And then Boston fouls out in the first overtime period. Tyler Underwood also fouls out in the overtime period. And then it came down to Alex Burton, who hit a three-pointer at the buzzer in the first overtime period to send it into the second overtime, tied at 79. And then they ran out of players, it seemed like, in a way for the Bears, as it was Jefferson winning on their home court, winning by a point, 86-85, the final in that one. In double overtime, you'll hear from Coach Josh Travis coming up in less than 5 minutes now here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. In the opening game, it was the Jefferson girls over the Lady Bears. Cherokee Bluff suffering their second straight region loss as they fall to the Lady Dragons by a score of 70-58. Over at Chestatee High in Region 6 AAA played, it was Pickens girls and boys winning their games against Chestatee, the top-ranked Dragonettes. They got back on the winning track as they defeat the ladies from Chestatee back last night, and the first loss in about a month, it seems like, for the Lady War Eagles of Chestatee. They had a 4-game winning streak going into that game from last night, with the Dragonettes coming out on top. Also from last night in other action around the area, up in Cleveland, it was the White County girls coming out on top of North Hall, 52-45. Then it was the North Hall boys. They got a buzzer beater, as it was Gunter Spain hitting a buzzer beater to defeat the White County Warriors 63-62, the final in that ball game. Spain had 25 points, leading North Hall to the victory. Cole Hulsey had 21 points. And then coming off the injured list, Blaine Gunter almost single-handedly led White County to the victory, but it just came up short as Gunter had 25 points, 17. I think those came in the second half of play last night, leading the Warriors. But it came down to that buzzer beater as North Hall had the ball with 3 seconds to go. They got to midcourt, called a timeout with 2 seconds, and then one of those catch-and-shoot three-pointers from the corner, and Spain hits the three. North Hall wins 63-62. Also last night in boys action, Pickens a big win last night over Chestatee over at the Lincoln Trail Center. Also other games around the area from last night, Dawson County winning both of their games against Johnson in Region 6 AAA play. Lumpkin County falls to Greater Atlanta Christian with the Spartans winning both the girls and boys ball games from last night in that region doubleheader. Gainesville goes on the road over to the Millbury-Buford area in northeast Gwinnett County, and they defeat Seconder in a doubleheader sweep. A.J. White leading the way for the Elephants in the boys ball game from last night. Big wins for the Red Elephants on the road from last night. Again, the girls a big win also in the first half of that doubleheader. It was the Fire Branch girls and boys losing their doubleheader at home to Eastside. A close one for the boys, 55-51. The final in that one, and they're getting closer and closer to defeating a very good Eastside team out of Covington. That one last night down the nest at Flowery Branch. And also around the area from last night, it was the Lanier Christian girls. They defeated Fidelis Christian last night. And also it was the East Forsyth boys of victory last night as they were victorious in boys action from last night. Coming up next here, 97.5 Glory FM, we'll have our first guest on the show. Stay tuned. We got much more for you coming up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia sports.
On-time service and experience matter for your home's heating and air system. For more than 40 years, Conditioned Air Systems has been North Georgia's solution for residential HVAC installation, maintenance, and repair. Family owned and operated, we deliver the highest quality service on any brand and model with no hidden fees, promising 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Comfort you can feel, quality you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Buford, Bushton, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/black-and-blue.
The experts are saying that it's going to be another tough year for the flu. Last year it started in October and lasted until May. It's never too early to get your flu shot, and you can stop by Riverside Pharmacy and get yours today. The pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can not only give you your flu shot, but if you get the flu, they can fill your prescription. They'll even deliver them in the Gainesville area. You can depend on Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
9 o'clock at 97.5 Glory FM. Let's go to the phones now and talk to our first guest this morning on the show. Is Coach Josh Travis, head boys basketball coach at Cherokee Bluff, joining us this morning. Hey, Josh, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
I know it's tough for you this morning. I appreciate you getting up. He had to set an alarm this morning because I know it was a late night last night for you and the Bears going over to Jefferson and playing a really tough loss. But I'll tell you what, that was a fantastic ball game, almost like a state playoff game, Josh.
It certainly had that kind of a feel. Yeah, double overtime game, a lot of excitement. You know, I think my mood, if we had pulled out the win, I think I would tell you how exciting the game was. It's a little bit different feeling when you lose, but yeah, certainly an exciting game.
Tell me about what your team learned from last night, because that was really something going back and forth last night.
Well, I think we learned a lot in a lot of different areas. And they played really fast, different type of game. We had to play a little bit differently. had a kid out, dealt with foul trouble, so we had to play different lineups. So I think for me, one of the things I learned is I got some guys on the bench that aren't getting a lot of opportunities that can handle them when I can get them those opportunities.
Well, of course, let's talk about the excitement, the way things end. You're down by 3 points, 69-66, and then it comes down to the play with Boston Curse there. It was still, everybody wanted to know, was that a set play for Boston?
No, I told my team. I think that one of the biggest mistakes I had was not having a better play than that. So needing a three in that moment, we went to something that we thought could get it, but we didn't get what we were originally trying to have. Boston hit a great shot. He's actually hit that exact same shot at the end of the third quarter against East Hall in the Lanierland final, almost replica plays, but neither one were drawn up. Those were just him making great plays.
And that's just the natural talent of Boston Curse. We talked with Coach Josh Travis, head boys basketball coach at Cherokee Bluff here on 97.5 Glory FM. So then it goes into the overtime period. You have Boston fouls out, Tyler Underwood fouls out, and it comes down to one of your reserves to hit another exciting three-pointer there at the end of the first overtime period.
Yeah, Alex Blurton hit a really gutsy shot, and in that moment we had some gutsy performances. We have three guys who play the point for us, and none of them were available to us at that moment. So we're playing against the full court press, and we had other guys step into that role and do a good job. We had a few turnovers, but in the end, that ball got to Alex, and that was a wild moment. I think everybody in the gym kind of lost their mind there for a second for us to hit two buzzer beaters to go to a second overtime.
Well, one thing about it, Coach, is that, Josh, we look at it when you have two of your best players out of the ball game, then so who's going to be the next man up to be the hero for you?
Well, and I'll tell you this, man. This is the people who are typically the next man up were not available either. So it was a very unique situation where at the end of the game we had lineups out there that I think about my team a lot. Obviously, I think I had a group that I probably never imagined them being out there together, and really proud of how they performed late. Obviously, we didn't pull it out, but I had some guys have some really gutsy moments. Mike, we had guys play in overtime that did not even get in the game during regulation.
Yeah, that's what's amazing right there. That just shows you what they can do, and I think how important that role is for them going later into the season, because here we are, we got 3 weeks left in the season. You take next Tuesday off, then you start things with the second half of the season. Here we are halfway through Region 8 AAA play. You're right there, and yeah, it's amazing. There's a three-way tie for the top spot with you and Jefferson and East Hall now, and it's like, okay, the big thing is get that first round bye. I guess that's the most important thing, isn't it?
Well, there's two parts to that. There is in all three of those games that led to each of us having one loss or close. I watched the East Hall Jefferson game. Getting that first round bye is big, but also if you can pull out the one seed, potentially you're on the other side of the bracket from the other two teams. So there's a whole lot at stake. And then we're in our first year using the I think they call it the postseason ranking formula, but our version of the power rating. And that's going to influence your seeding when and if you get to the state tournament. So there's a lot of meaning in every game right now, and that's what makes it fun.
Oh, no doubt about that. So let's talk about just the season in the whole. Here we go, 18-2. That is really something special for any team right now. I know you won't win every ball game last night. I know it was a setback that you can learn from, but I'll tell you what, it's amazing to see how this team has played all year long. We saw you at the Lanierland Championship again, Josh, and now seeing how things are here in January 25.
We got some guys who have played a lot of basketball together. And there's a lot of experience. We were a young team a few years ago with the same guys.
Yep.
I'm not surprised to see success out of this group, but if you go look at it, there's a handful of close games that are in there too. So it's not just being talented and playing good, it's being able to finish and make those good decisions. But as nice as it is to be 18-2 at the moment, I feel like it doesn't matter if we don't capitalize and finish the rest of the way.
And it starts again next Friday night with the game we'll go to Monroe area. I think it's next Friday night. You start things off in that second go around. But you see the success in the first go around. You think you can do the same thing second, don't you?
Well, yeah. You always think that. You always hope for that. You always know that it's possible for it to go the other direction too. And all those things add up to the old cliches of taking it one game at a time, and cliches are cliche for a reason most of the time. There's truth there. And the other thing is you go through a second round, and 3 of those 5 opponents you will be playing for a third time. So there's a lot of familiarity. There's a lot of adjustments. I feel like it's one of the better coached regions I've been in. Every team is well coached, so there's going to be little tweaks and adjustments every game. You got to be prepared for those things. And then basketball's a long season. We got some guys who got to get healthy, and we got to stay healthy.
I was asking about that. How's the health right now of the Bears?
Good. We have a key player that was out who he was held out in a precautionary way. He'll be back with us soon, and if it was a state tournament game, would have played last night, and he was a big piece that we missed. And outside of that, we're banged up a little bit here or there, but nothing more than anybody else.
So that's have a week off, isn't it?
And the timing of the week has been good for us. It fell at the right time.
Stories we talked with Coach Josh Travis here on 97.5 Glory FM with the Saturday Morning Sports Show. So let's talk about what you do when you have a week off like this. Is it a regular schedule, Josh?
That's a funny question to ask. It's a question I'm asking myself right now. There's two different answers to that. Sometimes people will simulate a game. So take that Tuesday and you use your practice and kind of do a little bit more scrimmage. Play it like a game so you can keep yourself on the same routine. And then, if you are banged up, it's an opportunity to take a little bit more time. And what I enjoy about it is practices at this point in the season a lot of times are game prep. It's coming in on a Thursday and talking about, Jefferson and what they're going to do on a Friday night. I think the best thing for us is to get back to some of our basic fundamentals. Do some of the things we did in October that are the foundation of who we are, and just remember some of those and get a few reps at it again. And I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, those are fun as a coach.
Just tell our listeners about, from a coaching standpoint, when it comes to the matchups of the other teams in Region 8 AAA.
There's different makeups of different teams. Obviously, everybody's not the same. There's some similarities between some of them. Jefferson and East Hall, and frankly us, all like to play fast. We go about doing it different ways. Monroe area and Oconee County both have really good bigs, in my opinion, and that's something that we have struggled with. We're getting better with. We've had a few guys step up and really take those matchups. But there's always a balance. Is the matchup going to be something we let our opponent dictate to us, or are we going to dictate it to them? And I think we can be a matchup problem. We're capable of putting 5 really good guards on the floor and making it hard for people to guard. So it's a game-by-game thing. There's a chess match. Who's going to do what? Who's going to try to exploit what matchup? So there's a lot to it. And like I said, really good coaches in the region.
Well, I know you like being number 1 in state right now, but it's nice to be number 1 at the end of the season, then number 1 when you finish the region playoffs, and then be number 1 there in March.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's always the goal. And there's a lot of things in coaching that are important. There's a lot of things that go beyond winning and losing. But I think pursuing those things and pursuing winning are usually on the same path. And that's what we're about. We're trying to be our best on a daily basis. And if you can do that, you'll be your best in the end. And basketball is not, you don't typically see people go undefeated. You don't see people win the whole time. And you don't see people play a game without adversity. So we're in that moment now where we get to see how we respond to it.
All right, Josh, thanks so much for being with us. I know you're up early this morning. I appreciate you setting an alarm and being with us. And we'll talk to you later, friend, okay?
Half the world's rolling their eyes at that. This isn't early, but maybe for a guy that stayed up too late watching film, it is. So I appreciate it, Mike.
Absolutely, man. Thanks. Appreciate it much. There we go, Bears, okay? Thanks, man. Got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM. As you're tuned to the Saturday Morning Sports Show, we got another guest standing by. Stay tuned. We got much more for you coming up next.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
If you need on-time expert plumbing service, Conditioned Air Systems is here for you. Our plumbers deliver the highest quality service in North Georgia 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. We've been North Georgia's source for elite residential and commercial services since 1983. Our licensed plumbers offer services for installation and repairs of pipes, water heaters, septic lines, and sump pumps. Choose Conditioned Air Systems for quality service and unmatched knowledge for your plumbing needs.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Beaufort, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
The experts are saying that it's going to be another tough year for the flu. Last year it started in October and lasted until May. It's never too early to get your flu shot, and you can stop by Riverside Pharmacy and get yours today. The pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can not only give you your flu shot, but if you get the flu, they can fill your prescription. They'll even deliver them in the Gainesville area. You can depend on Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
It's now 26 minutes past 9 here on 97.5 Glory FM, your radio station for North Georgia Sports. We've got another special guest joining us here this morning by phone. We're going to talk, a man you heard a couple of weeks ago here on 97.5 Glory FM, talking about fishing on Lake Lanier. His name is Brandon Whiteside, joining us this morning. Hey, Brandon, good morning.
Hey, Mike, good morning. How's it going?
It is going great, sir. Glad you joined us here this morning. We've heard from you a couple of weeks ago talking about fishing on Lake Lanier. We want to let everybody know I've been talking about a special announcement we've got here on 97.5 Glory FM about a brand new program, and we're excited about this. Let everybody know what we're going to be doing.
Well, I'll tell you. So I thought about how to just give some background to this. Many people don't know this, Mike, but do you know that the Lake Lanier economic impact for our area is about $5 billion annually? Okay, and that's, there are 10 million visitors that come to this lake each year, everything from fishing, tourism, and that leads to local business growth, whether it be, restaurants, marinas, boats, but then there's power generation down at the dam, and of course there's real estate. So this is a pristine ecosystem with Lake Lanier, but it is a vibrant economic situation that we have in this area, and so I just think it makes sense for us to capitalize on that and talk about it and generate interest. And so I'm excited to announce Hooked on Lanier, which begins the Saturday after next.
Yep, on February the 1st. We'll have it at 6 a.m. 6:05 until 7 to start things off, and maybe we'll see if it expands from that standpoint. It's the first hour-long fishing show on radio here in the North Georgia area here in the Gainesville radio, and looking forward to that because you see the vast area that serves this local area, and really how it really depends on the lake in a lot of ways, Brandon.
Mike, you're 100% correct. There are still fish to be caught right now on Lanier, of course. I think a lot of us are waiting for the spring to roll around, the water temperatures move up, the air temperatures move up. It'll be a more comfortable situation for fishermen. But like I said when I called in a week or two ago, a buddy once said to me, if you're out there fishing and you're uncomfortable, the fish are likely comfortable. And I do think, Mike, that's gonna change here. We have more, what are they calling it now, a polar vortex coming in next week. Right now, Mike, the water temperature on Lake Lanier is still in the low 50s. Next week, or this coming week, we're going to see those water temperatures plummet into the upper 40s, mid 40s, and when that happens, you're going to see some of these fish start to have lockjaw because their metabolism is just so slow. They just don't have the energy to chase bait, and so it's going to get more and more tricky. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to need to work your baits very slowly. You're going to need to be strategic about where you look for the stripers and bass. I would say in the morning, you start out in deeper water because it's warmer, and if it's sunny as the day goes on, start start moving maybe towards shallow water. And when I say deeper water, maybe the mouths of some of the northern end creeks, and then, of course, move towards the back. So it's going to get a little bit tricky, Mike. But once the first full moon hits in February and we start to have a warm-up, look for the stripers to engage in their annual spawning behavior, and the bass, same thing to follow, and then fish will start feeding again.
So the show is called Hooked on Lanier. It'll be hosted by Brandon Whitesides, who's a local fisherman. Also, Harper Bobel will be joining him on the show. I'll be manning the controls here behind the scenes here on 97.5 Glory FM. Every Saturday morning starting at 6:05. Let everybody know what they can expect out of the show, Brandon.
Well, listen, so the primary thrust of the show, Mike, is fishing, right? So that's my passion. I came out of my mother's womb with a fishing rod in my hand, so to speak. Grew up in South Florida, ended up being landlocked here in Atlanta, kept trailing my boat, from here down to Florida to fish. And I said, wait a minute, there's plenty to fish to be had here. So that is my passion. But back to what I said about the $5 billion, local economic impact that this lake has. There are things that are related to fishing that would be of interest to listeners. So it's fishing reports, Mike. We can talk about like real estate trends that are going on. We can have boat manufacturers come on and give advice about the best boat, best bang for your money. We can have local law enforcement come on and talk about, and we will talk about the stocking programs for the lake, why you should wear your life jacket 12 months out of the year, the importance of having a fishing license, how that impacts, how that agency runs, and the list goes on and on.
And we'll have it for you starting on Saturday, February the 1st at 6:05 a.m. Our new lineup will feature Hooked on Lanier with Brandon Whitesides on Saturday mornings here on 97.5 Glory FM. Looking forward to it, Brandon. We'll talk soon, okay?
Yes, sir. You have a good day.
Thank you very much. That is Brandon Whitesides joining us here on 97.5 Glory FM with Hooked on Lanier starting on February the 1st. You'll hear it online, on demand on WGTJradio.com. You can hear the program on your radio, your cell phone, your tablet, your computer, anything that you can listen to when it comes to an audio stream. You'll hear it right here on 97.5 Glory FM with Hooked on Lanier coming up on February the 1st. We got much more for you as you're tuned to the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
This is Representative Lee Hawkins, your representative to the state legislature. I want to wish all the local athletes in our area the very best this season. Your team is very important to the success of our community, and I look forward to seeing you play this year and to see what you accomplish in the classrooms and in the community. I also look forward to serving you and your family in the state legislature. This message paid for by the committee to re-elect Lee Hawkins.
Back of the Saturday Morning Sports Show, unable to reach Brandon Shabath, the Director of Communications for the University of North Georgia. Nighthawks back in action today. Back on Wednesday, they defeated Lander, women winning in a big way over the Lady Bearcats. In the men's ball game, you can go to the website there at ungathletics.com, and you can see Craig Corbin call the play-by-play. It was a buzzer beater for the Nighthawks as A.J. White hits a three-pointer to give the Nighthawks a win over the Lander Bearcats back on Wednesday night. They're in play today for a conference doubleheader. You can go to their website, ungathletics.com. You can see the live video stream. Here on 97.5 Glory FM, we'll bring you college basketball from Georgia State as it is Dave Cohen in Jonesboro, Arkansas. He's up this morning. He's going to join us later on the program as he'll bring you the play-by-play of Georgia State taking on the Red Wolves of Arkansas State. Jonesboro is about 30-45 minutes to the west of Memphis, Tennessee. You cross over the Mississippi River and head toward Jonesboro, the home of Arkansas State and the The Panthers looking to get a road win, which they desperately need after winning 3 straight home games. They lost to Texas State back on Wednesday night, and Dave's here to bring us a play-by-play this afternoon starting at 3:15. And later on this morning, he'll let us know more about that show, that program, previewing that game this afternoon right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Recapping high school basketball action, as you heard from Coach Josh Travis of Cherokee Bluff. Bears losing both ends of their doubleheader last night at the arena at Jefferson, with the Lady Dragons winning 70-58 over Cherokee Bluff. Second straight region loss for Coach Cassie Scott's Lady Bears. Then the nightcap of the doubleheader, a thrilling double overtime game for Cherokee Bluff and Jefferson, with the Dragons coming out on top to 86-85. The game was tied at 69-all at the end of regulation. Also last night, a buzzer beater as Gunnar Spain hit a three-pointer in Cleveland, lifting North Hall to a 63-62 win over White County. Also in the first game of that doubleheader, it was the girls from White County winning the game over North Hall. It was Pickens sweeping by Chestatee in that region. Dawson County gets a doubleheader win over Johnson last night, and it was Greater Atlanta Christian defeating Lumpkin County in both girls and boys action in Region 6 AAA. And 8 AAA, along with the game between Cherokee Bluff and Jefferson. Our broadcast last night feature a very, very strong East Hall team, both the girls and boys. The girls win by a score of 78-23, boys winning by a final of 74-29. We'll have Cherokee Bluff and East Hall here on 97.5 Glory FM coming up in a couple of weeks on January 31st down at the home of the Bears. That should be a great matchup, the rematch of the Lanier Land Championship. By the play-by-play for you right here on 97.5 Glory FM. Also from last night, it was Gainesville sweeping by Seconder, both the girls and boys winning their Region 7 Quinte games. Here's a streak for you. The girls from North Forsyth have won 51 consecutive regular season games. They won again last night in a huge way over Alpharetta in their region, Region 6-6A last night. And what a team they have at North Forsyth. On the calendar, they have not lost a game since 2023. So here they are, 51 consecutive regular season games in high school basketball. That is just amazing for the Lady Raiders out of Coal Mountain. Also over there in Forsyth County, the East Forsyth boys, they win their game last night in region play over Cedar Shoals. And it also here in Hall County in Region 8 Quad 8, it was Flying Branch falling to the east side of Covington at doubleheader sweep. Also last night, it was back on Thursday night, the Lakeview Academy boys, they defeated Riverside Prep in a GIAA game for Coach Benji Wood's team. And also from last night, the Lanier Christian girls, they defeated Fidelis Christian in a GAPPS game from last night for the Lady Lightning. Is one of the best teams in their region in the GAPPS. We got much more for you coming up next. We'll talk about the College Football Championship on Monday night. It's in Atlanta as Ohio State takes on Notre Dame. Plus, we'll talk about the NFL playoffs with Harper LaBelle coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM with the Saturday Morning Sports Show.
Your home is part of you, and keeping it comfortable and well-maintained is essential. Conditioned Air Systems is North Georgia's solution for residential heating, air, and plumbing services. For more than 40 years, our family has been committed to delivering the highest quality service by our certified technicians and plumbers. Experience the difference today when you choose Conditioned Air Systems for your home's heating, air, and plumbing needs. Quality you can feel, service you can trust. Visit conditionedairsystems.com to schedule an appointment.
Injuries are never planned and often happen after hours or over the weekend. That's why NGPG Orthopedic and Sports Medicine offers the Black and Blue Walk-In Clinic for injured athletes every Monday morning in their offices in Gainesville, Brazelton, Beaufort, Houston, and Jefferson. No need to call. Just walk right in between 8:30 and 11:30 on Monday mornings. And one of their sports medicine and orthopedic doctors will be there to help identify, treat, and care for your injury. To learn more, you may visit ngpg.org/blackandblue.
And back on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM. Let's go to the phones once again this morning. Talk to our next guest this morning. We talk with Harper LaBelle, who's joining us this morning. Hey, Harper.
Well, good morning, Mike. You getting excited? Is it about time for you to host some people from either Indiana or Ohio and pay top dollar to stay with the Wofford?
No,
folks looking for places to stay now.
Hey, it's not going to happen because I'm excited about becoming a grandparent this week. That's my big thing. We'll see how my schedule works out. I may have to have you to fill in for me. How about that? Can you do that?
Here we go. Let's get her done. Gotta have your babies. Everyone needs to, experience being a grandpa. It's great.
Hey, we got to have that pipeline going, got to have something going in the future from that standpoint. So, looking forward to that. Hey, what are you think about this big ball game coming up on Monday night? Is Atlanta going to be overrun, you think, by people from up north?
Well, I think the weather might scare a few folks that would normally do this away if it were like it were at the Rose Bowl or the Cotton Bowl. But first and foremost, my congratulations to Atlanta. We spent 1.1 billion, then it turned to 1.4, and now it's about 1.6 billion just to get that stadium done. But the rest of the country is recognizing that it looks great. We fill it up, which is the most important thing. And there have been some great games here in Atlanta, and I think on Monday night, Ohio State, Notre Dame. Just you look at the tradition, the festivities that are involved with these two classic programs. Maybe Michigan, maybe Alabama, maybe USC would have enough of a background to be there. But for this being the first time that they did it, for these two organizations to get together face to face with the significance that they have played for a national championship, it's about as good as you could write it.
Yep, I think that's what we can do. We can nickname this game Monday Night Fiasco. How about that?
Well, if we were outdoors in Green Bay, I'd agree with you, but it's going to be about 71 instead of 72. So
that's indoors, yes.
Maybe not ice, but
yes.
Gosh, I know. Even the presidential inauguration is being moved indoors. So
yes,
thank goodness this isn't an outdoor game. If we were playing at Fulton County Stadium, that might be a little bit of a mess. But they demolished that, obviously, and now it's one of the best places in all of sports, really, in the country to be able to watch a game and to enjoy it. So from the comfort and I bet you there'll be a nice warm fire there somewhere near the Wofford House.
Oh, you say that's that. Well, you think about, when the Peace Bowl was just trying to survive, we just kept having horrible weather there at Atlanta Fulton County Stadium. It would snow one year, horrible rain one year, that kind of thing. Next thing you know, there's the idea about making a dome stadium in Atlanta, and that changed the Peach Bowl forever, and I think also changed football in Atlanta forever with the Falcons moving indoors now. So also the Georgia Dome, the Mercedes-Benz now, it's a great place to watch a football game, college or the NFL. So what do you think is going to happen on Monday night between the Buckeyes and Irish?
Well, it should be a great game, and let's remind our listeners, for those that have a few gray hairs, that first Super Bowl that Atlanta got after the Georgia Dome was built. You built the stadium, and then the league goes, okay, well, we'll reward you by giving you a Super Bowl. And the weather that week was just plain awful.
Exactly.
It was cold and sleet, and didn't snow. It wasn't cold enough for that, but it was just miserable. And the result of that was the NFL for years said, well, we're not going to have a game there. Nobody had any fun.
Exactly.
So, you go to New Orleans where it's warmer. You get Florida, multiple cities there, Miami and Tampa, for example. Jacksonville can have a Super Bowl. The stadium's a little bit smaller than what they would prefer. Arizona always gets one, and now the California, either Pasadena or SoFi now. So there's other places to go. So for Atlanta to be in the loop there, I'm not going to say we're lucky, but we're certainly blessed and very fortunate that we get to host the game. And speaking of that, I think, hey, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but Ohio State is the best team money could buy, don't they?
They sure do. Guess that's what the coaches say.
Well, they've done a great job of recruiting. They've got 5 stars and 4 stars all over the place. I think Notre Dame caught up very quickly. I think both of us would be very surprised at the team speed that these guys have been able to advance to. Not only the corners and the wide receivers, the running backs, but even the offensive and defensive linemen. They're bigger, faster, stronger. The faster portion is what has amazed me. The Penn State, Tennessee, Clemson's that have been in this tournament, the speed, especially in Georgia. Let's not miss them. Texas, Arizona State, they're fitting these guys in, and the right lineup, the right time. But I honestly, have to say, Ohio State has the better lineup. But in a way, I'm kind of rooting for the underdog, and that would be Notre Dame.
Yep. I don't see Ohio State running away with it, but it might happen. But I think Notre Dame's going to put a good show up there and see what might happen there with Ohio State and Notre Dame coming up on Monday night. Hey, I want to change subject when it comes to college sports. Just one quick question for you. You're our money guy when it comes to the NFL. Now with NIL, heard the story yesterday, and we thought about, all this money going to college football players with NIL, and just some of this amazing figure. We've heard even more amazing figures from Carson Beck going to Miami, that money may be a lot more than $4 million, for example, Harper. And then we hear now with Title IX, with a judge saying, okay, we're going to look at NIL as financial assistance going to college, and it's like, okay, we want the same type of money going to women's sports. That's got to change the amount of money going into a college football program, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, Title IX, in and of itself, was just to make it a lot fairer for the same amount of scholarships to be available for female athletes. And there's nothing wrong with that. But dividing the money up, I don't know how you're going to do that, because I don't know how you measure what the college basketball comparisons would be between the men and the women. But the swim team, or the girls golf, how do you take care of beach volleyball? I don't know how you fund that in the same way that you do. I think what they're going to want to do is take some money and trickle it out of football, basketball programs into the baseball, softball world, and try to make it a little more equal, so that the spiker on the volleyball team gets something in comparison to what the quarterback is making.
Yep. All right. For example, in college baseball, thought about your son, who's a baseball player, is that I was told we had two players here locally who got scholarships to play for Kennesaw State this year, D1 Conference USA. And then they were told, unfortunately, we can't have you on our team because there were real changes with the NCAA. Just the roster limit had shrunk so dramatically, and then they increased the number of scholarships. And they said, okay, we just don't have a spot for you. And so these players had to go to a group of 5 school, for example, or even a D2 school, and try to find a place to go. And there's not that kind of NIL money. They were expected at a Division I school.
Yeah, isn't it interesting when you want to have a little bit for everybody and kind of spread it out as equally as you can, to where, well, we don't have enough to do that anymore. So we're going to lower, or at least shrink, the size of the amounts of scholarships from 30 to 25 to 22 to maybe 19. It's just that the bang of the gun has gone off. The runners are running around the track, and I've said this before, and each time they go around, well, how far are we going to run? And the official says, well, I don't know, just keep running.
As far as you can.
They're making up new rules all the time that are changing right before our very eyes the strategy that a young person would have. It seems like if you want to play at that, if you want to play at Kennesaw, for example, use that school specifically, you'd almost have to pay to be a part of the roster unless you have a full scholarship.
Yep, because you got players who are there. Yeah, there's no room for freshmen anymore. And that's why.
Yeah, well, you enroll at the school, and then you get nothing if you were part of the.
Right.
What if you hit 310, Mike? There's no room for a guy that can hit, or is a great fielder, or can pitch 95. Of course there is, but at what price is that? We're still learning things every day. How it's changing right before our very eyes.
Yep. All right, so let's talk NFL football now. Do you have any interest in the games coming this weekend, because the Falcons aren't in it? Nobody from the NFC South's in it. So okay, are we just waiting for the Super Bowl game before we make any interest in this thing?
Well, I do have a personal take in terms of the Buffalo Baltimore game. That game will be in Buffalo, and I think it's supposed to be 37 today, but who knows what it is. There's the front moving. I just looked at the weather a minute ago. It's 9 degrees in Minneapolis, but it's 32 in Chicago. Wow. So just the distance, the short distance between those two cities is 25 degrees. And as this thing moves south, we'll see what it's going to be like tomorrow. But later tonight, Kansas City's in the 20s. Detroit, it doesn't matter because it's an indoor game. But that personal game, that one, for me, guess what the good news is if you win that game? Is now you got to go to Kansas City. Probably. I don't think Houston is going to like me saying this, but I think the odds are very high that Kansas City will beat Houston here today, later today. And so the winner of the Baltimore-Buffalo game gets the good fortune of having to go to Kansas City.
So, every time you say, though, Harper, a team that plays indoors, fare at all in January in a cold weather climate?
Well, it used to be like I still remember the Falcons hosting Green Bay And Green Bay had come from, it was 17 the same day that the Falcons played in the mid-40s. And so Green Bay, that's like going to the beach.
Right.
And they played very well. So the advantage, the home field advantage, so to speak, with the Falcons was absolutely zero.
Sure.
It was there's no advantage at all.
Green Bay has a big
played
one.
well, they win the game.
But Green Bay has a huge home field advantage with that kind of weather, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Oh, gosh, yeah. And so does Buffalo, or any team that plays outdoor. Philadelphia will be outside. They'll host the Rams. The Rams won't be used to 40s, or if it's lower than that, the 30s. So, yes, absolutely, home field advantage to the Northeast. And guess what? Most of the teams, with the exception of Kansas City, are Washington. I mentioned Philadelphia, Baltimore. All those teams in the East Coast, they've been practicing in this now for 2, 3, 4 weeks, so they're a lot more used to it. You never really get to be 100% comfortable in it. You're miserable too on your sideline, but you're not as miserable as the other guys.
Right. So the 4 teams left in the NFC, who's got the advantage?
Oh, Detroit. You know, you got people have to go through Detroit, and the reason I mention that so quickly, Mike, is their home field fan base right now is so hungry for them to win.
Oh, sure.
That they'll be cheering if you have to tie your shoelaces. Look at Jared Goff, he's tying his shoelaces. Yeah, you go, Jared. You are awesome. It's just gonna be great watching there, and they're but they're beat up.
You know it.
Yeah, they are beat up as anybody, so they could use this extra time off. I'm just wondering whether they slump out the gates and take a little while to get going.
Yep.
I think that's the advantage that Washington has, is that they've been playing meaningful games, and this has been playoff football for them for a couple of weeks, where I think Detroit has turned it off a little bit since the Minnesota game. Once they won home field advantage, now they got to, Dan Campbell's going to do it, but you got to get him ramped up and ready to go. But be careful about the Rams too. Matthew Stafford, I wouldn't look that guy blindly in the eye and go, you don't have it anymore. That guy can play.
Yeah, we got some good quarterbacks left in the Final Four, don't we?
Oh man, and who would have thought that Washington, with a rookie quarterback, would rally around him the way that they have? And this time a year ago, they were the number 2 seed for the draft, and now they're the number 5 seed or 6 seed in the other direction, getting a chance to play in Detroit for a meaningful game in January.
Yep. All right, we'll see who wins this weekend. Harper and I'll talk next Saturday morning about, we'll talk also about this game on Monday night. We'll see who ends up winning the national championship between Ohio State and Notre Dame. But I appreciate it much. We'll talk next week, okay?
Yeah, I think the Bucks will probably win, but go Irish. Here we go.
And I can make this social show next Saturday morning, okay?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, appreciate it much, Rev. We got much more for you coming up next here on 97.5 Glory FM. We'll wrap things up. We'll talk with Dave Cohen, the voice of Georgia State, about today's basketball game with Arkansas State and Georgia State, and it comes up next.
The experts are saying that it's going to be another tough year for the flu. Last year it started in October and lasted until May. It's never too early to get your flu shot, and you can stop by Riverside Pharmacy and get yours today. The pharmacists at Riverside Pharmacy can not only give you your flu shot, but if you get the flu, they can fill your prescription. They'll even deliver them in the Gainesville area. You can depend on Riverside Pharmacy across the street from City Park, serving Gainesville for over 60 years.
Back on 97.5 Glory FM. Thanks all of our guests joining me this morning here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show. Let's go to the phones one more time here. Let's go to Jonesboro, Arkansas, and talk with Dave Cohen. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Mike from Jonesboro. Getting ready for a little Georgia State basketball this afternoon against the Red Wolves of Arkansas State. The second game of a 2-game Sun Belt Conference road trip that started this past Thursday night out there in San Marcos, Texas. That didn't go so well, and Georgia State going to look to get a split on this road trip here today against Arkansas State.
All right, the big question to start off things, how's the weather in Jonesboro?
When we got here, it was fine. It rained a little bit last night. I'm looking outside the Embassy Suites Hotel right now, and looks to be a little cloudy and overcast. It was a little chilly last night when we walked back from First National Bank Arena to the hotel, which is right across the street, and so right now it does not look like it's raining anymore, which is good news. But we'll be indoors today inside the arena for the Panthers and the Red Bulls.
I know you're glad about that, but we thought, it's raining here. We thought, it's going to turn bitterly cold that we thought might be that way, already in Arkansas heading this way. So I'm glad that there's no quote-unquote winter weather heading this way. So let's talk about basketball today. Got to get a road win, don't you?
Yeah, and they're not easy. In any conference, you hear any coach or player talk, going out on the road is always a challenge. And everything being relative, it's the same situation here. You go back to really the early days of this college basketball season. And as right now, South Alabama sits atop the Sun Belt standings for the first third of the season, most of it non-conference. Arkansas State was sitting atop the conference standings. And right now I think they're third in the league. And, they're coming off a win on Thursday night over the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana. That was a 20-point win. So they committed 13-5. They're 4-2 in conference play. But the number that out at you is that in 8 home games this year, they've not lost a game at First National Bank Arena. They're 8-0 at home. So a tall order for Georgia State to try to come in and be the first team to beat them on their home floor. Georgia State has won 3 of their last 4, but didn't play that well the other night in San Marcos, losing in Texas State 94-80. And the numbers that jump out at that one, gave up 17 offensive rebounds, which Texas State turned into 25 points. And that was the first thing Associate Head Coach Danny Peters mentioned when he sat down, put on the headsets, and joined me on our radio postgame show the other night. He said 25 on 17, and then went on to explain. So, as you'll hear this afternoon from head coach Jonas Hayes, when I asked what is the key, what is one key or two in today's game, he just looks at me and says rebounding, rebounding, rebounding. Cannot give up offensive rebounds.
No. And that's the thing. You look at the matchup. So how are the big men for Arkansas State compared to Georgia State?
Well, it's not a big team. I think they're the tallest is a kid by the name of Isaiah Nelson, who interestingly enough is an Atlanta, Georgia kid out of Marietta High School. He's listed at 6'10", but he's got 5 starts in 13 games, averaging 7 points and almost 6 rebounds. It seems to be a little bit more of a guard-oriented basketball team. Their leading scorer at 17 points a game is a 6'4" senior from Canada named Taryn Todd. And then as Jonas and I were talking about in the pregame, which you'll hear this afternoon, not only will we talk about the transfer portal, Mike, but transferring within conferences. We had seen Kobe Juliet for the couple of 3 seasons playing for Louisiana's Raging Cajuns. He has since transferred to Arkansas State and is playing pretty well here now at 13 points and 6 rebounds and 13 starts in 14 games. So he transfers within the Sun Belt Conference and is still playing pretty well over here for Arkansas State.
Wow. All right, so we'll have the broadcast. Our time 3:15, our time 2:15. Your time. We'll start things off the pregame show. I'll be managing controls for the network. You can hear the game right here on 97.5 Glory FM and on the Georgia State Sports app. And we'll have the play-by-play starting at 3:30. How important is this ball game to win today?
Well, as any coach will tell you, they're all big because we're going to head home tomorrow and look forward to back-to-back home games against Marshall and James Madison. You'd love to bring a little bit of momentum off the road into 2 home games. But right now, Georgia State at 7-11 and 3-3 in league play. If you're going to stay in the race, and right now Georgia State's in with a group of teams that are all 3-3 in conference play, getting a road win, this would be the kind of win that would make people kind of stand up and take a look at Georgia State basketball. They would take a closer look if we were somehow to get a win here on the road at Arkansas State. So every game is big. Road games are tough. Lefty Drizel, Mike, used to tell me all the time, good teams win at home, great teams win on the road.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Good Lefty. All right, enjoy Jonesboro, Arkansas, friend. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Mike, thank you.
All right. Dave Cohen, the voice of Georgia State. We'll wrap things up for you. Coming up next here on the Saturday Morning Sports Show on 97.5 Glory FM.
Here I am on the road again, ready to pick up the kids from school, go by the grocery store, and do all the things a busy mother does. It's because I just left North Hall Tire and Wheel, where they made sure I was ready to go. They put on a fresh set of tires, checked the brakes, and even the battery. I know I can trust Mike and Matt and the guys at North Hall Tire and Wheel. They have everything you need, all the name brand tires at the best prices, and the service you need. They're on Cleveland Highway in Gainesville, so give them a call at 770-297-5308.
97.5 Glory FM is WGTJ Murrayville, Gainesville, and W248DL Murrayville, Gainesville.
With SRN News, I'm Bob Agnew in Washington.